We're gonna get there.
Started really
It's gonna
well.
get smoother. It's
It
gonna
Yeah.
get
did.
smoother.
What happens is right when it gets to the end, it's like, okay, now you got to manually now click
Yep.
everything. Click, 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 click.
Yep.
Whatever. Fuck off. What's up, boys? How y'all doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I can't complain, man. It's always good to get on here, chop it up with the boys. Talk a little bit MMA, but talk some more sports, little pop culture as well. Can't beat it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. I don't really know much about one aspect of it that we're going to talk about, but we're going to see how well I can wing it.
Yeah,
To see
we'll
at the
wing
very
it.
least.
We already got some people popping up in the chat. And see JVD's in here. Paradox is in here. Let me see. Let me pop up on that screen. Sterling's in here.
Yo, Sterling.
That's what's up. Yeah. So yeah, like you said, we're gonna talk about a variety of things in this little bit of time. But anybody that's in here, as y'all filter in, make sure y'all share this out to other people so they can jump into the chat. And then also say a bunch of stuff in the chat. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, first thing I'll talk about is whole UFC Iowa thing. It's I feel like it's been a narrative. I haven't been like on everything, but it's been a narrative. People saying that Bo Nickal got fraud checked. Now, what do y'all? I'm gonna go to you, Cross, first. But what do you think about that whole situation? Like, do you think that he was fraud checked, or what do you think was actually the situation?
I think fraud check is a bit strong, just because the guy's what is like 7, 8 fights in. He's fighting a former 2 division champion from one championship. Like all the experience he was up against, man. Like this sport is totally different from where it was like back in the day. Like you could just be a wrestler, come into UFC, and you guaranteed to have all the success. The guys are so well rounded now that you got to have a skill set in other areas as opposed to just one to have real success. I'll give you an example. Alex Pereira, 2 division glory kickboxing champion, right? Comes in the UFC and now has really good takedown defense now all of a sudden, very quickly. But Bo Nickal, yeah, we see, it's an American wrestler, but on the feet, like those skills just haven't been advancing fast enough to really, do damage on the feet. And then, man, hey, RDR, he fought a really good fight, man. I think he opened a lot of eyes to just how good he is.
For sure, man. I mean, I picked RDR out the gate. I knew this was going to go this direction. My only regret is I didn't put more money on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a feeling that it was going to go this direction. But Frankie, what were your thoughts like after seeing Bo Nickal get crushed like that?
I was aroused. Excited.
So do
Glorious.
you like Bo Nickal more or Joe Pyfer?
Ooh.
I know how you feel about Joe Pyfer.
Oh wow, that's a tough one. I've got enough hate in my heart for both those gentlemen for sure. It's fairly. I would say I hate them. I hate them both for equally strong reasons, but for different reasons. Like I feel like, but Woe Black Betty said this in my stream on Sunday. He said that this wasn't a fraud check-in for Bo Nickal; it was a fraud checkmate, which I thought was very, very telling. Like I thought it was very apt. And it boils down to, I know he's very inexperienced, and that showed. We all kind of felt that RDR was going to be a step too much for him. But the reason why we're in the position that we're in is because, and this has been well documented by a lot of streamers, a lot of media, it was the amount of shit that he was talking prior to it that has led to this situation. And that's why I feel like, first of all, I got no sympathy for him because he set this up for. It's one of those things that when someone talks that much shit, there's two things that can happen. Either they live up to it and it blows them up to a stage that makes them a global superstar because they talk an unruly amount of shit that everyone thinks is unrealistic, but then they do it, and then you're like, he's him, or it goes in the other direction. And the issue with this is like he was talking mad shit about people that were way above his level and way clearly above his level.
Yeah.
And then he falls at essentially what is the real first hurdle. Because RDR is the first legit opponent that he's actually faced, and we can't take anything away from this guy. Anyone who knows, he was sensational in one. I know he had a little bit of a shaky performance in his first UFC fight, but that can happen. This guy's a champion. He's a double champion, and he's got a lot more experience than Bo Nickal has. But this is a test that if Bo Nickal was going to be that guy, he probably should have overcome. And what really told me about this is it wasn't just a skill disparity, which we were all expecting. I feel like there was a heart disparity in there as well. I think he literally crumbled. It's almost like he was shocked when he was getting hit and getting hurt. It suddenly dawned on him what this game's all about. And I think that's one thing that he came out of it. In terms of the stock dropping, that's the thing that's going to hurt him the most. It wasn't just the fact that he wasn't as good as RDR. It's the fact that as soon as he faced adversity, he completely fell apart. And now it looks like he's got a mountain to climb. Could he come back and do something? Hopefully he'll learn from it. But from what we've seen, I think he's getting all the flack that he deserves and all the abuse that he deserves because he's been an arrogant little shitbag and he's paid the price now. So I, for one, we all saw this. I've been saying this for a long time. I mean, you remember I was talking. We had this conversation a year ago.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit longer than that. And I said my ceiling for him, I think I said was top 10 to 15. I'm not even sure if he gets there now. But
I mean, it's tough.
It's going to be interesting. It's tough.
He definitely looked very one-dimensional. Like if he couldn't get that takedown and hold the person there, I mean, he's going to try to land one big punch, and that works against, people who fight at the regional level, which I feel like probably all of his fights were against people who are really regional fighters. And he as soon as he fought somebody that was real, which RDR, I mean, he was a champ in another organization, and it wasn't by accident.
Double champion.
Yeah, wasn't by accident at all. It's a tough fight, but the other fighters that have been kind of heralded like that, like Sean O'Malley, like Paddy Pimblett. You could say what you will about how close the fights were. They didn't get finished. Can't say they got finished. Now, did Paddy Pimblett beat Jared Gordon? Probably not. Did Sean O'Malley beat Peter Yan? It's debatable. But they also did not get crumbled, inside of the time limit. So, I mean, I think this is a good time for Bo to learn from it, fight somebody that's actually on his level. I mean, almost like a Raul Rosas Jr. Once he got beat by Christian Rodriguez, he went back and got a little bit better. And he's not fighting into the top 15 or anything like that. He's fighting where he's supposed to. And I think Bo's gonna have to do the same thing.
Man, there were two more things I got out of this fight. When I saw Bo in there, I was like, bro, this dude needs to go to welterweight. Like RDR looked massive next to Bo Nickal. And if you look at Bo Nickal's body, like he doesn't have a lot of muscle mass. To me, like it seems like he holds a lot of water. And if he died it for a little bit, I think he could make welterweight. And I think his strength and that physicality would play a little bit more against smaller guys down there at welterweight. I don't know. To me, it looked like they were in two different weight classes.
That's true. RDR did look like a 205er compared to him.
He's a massive middleweight as well.
Yeah, but then also he came in. Didn't Bo show up like some ungodly amount over before he started to cut weight?
Yeah, he's like 220 or something like that. I saw on the video, but I think that's water though.
It might be, but that's ridiculous. So it also made me think: are you actually preparing? Like, I mean, for somebody on his level of wrestling, you would think that's not a question that you would need to ask. But now I'm starting to think like, okay, what are you doing in between camps? The same questions that we asked about Patty. Like, are you actually being prepared in between camps, or are you writing your script on how you're going to talk shit about stuff?
I think there's a lot to be said about about what weight he should be at, but I still think we're reaching a little bit, and I'm not prepared to do that for Bo, because I don't think he's looked great in any of his fights in the UFC, apart from against what was the guy's name who he
Val Woodburn.
Oh
Val
yeah,
Woodburn.
yeah,
That's
Woodburn.
probably
Yeah.
the only fight, and Val Woodburn is not it. So
He's not good.
there's a clear skill issue. He can't. It's like there's no jab that was put out there this weekend. He's got no jab on him. He basically swings overhand rights. And then the issue is, you said he's a one-dimensional fighter. I don't think his wrestling's really been all that up to scratch in his fights. So he hasn't shown any real dominance against half decent opponents where he's been able to strongly take them down. I thought the Cody Brundage fight was very telling in that regard.
Yeah.
I think he stumbled over the line against Cody Brundage, and that's when I was like, nah, he's not going to be anything. As soon as I saw that fight, I was convinced that was the one that did it for me. So there's a lot to I think the big issue here is that he's been getting absolutely glazed over by everyone around him. The media's been doing it, the UFC's been doing it, it's been happening in the gym. And then he's clearly hit a wall that he wasn't expecting. You could see it on the guy's face. As soon as he started getting work to the body and he couldn't get off his game plan, he looked lost in there.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that would be a wake-up call for him, because you don't know that until you've gone through it. But that's going to be a lot to come back from. It could be the making of him or the breaking of him. And from what we've seen with the skill issue and the heart issue, it's become a massive mountain for him to climb.
Yeah.
And especially with where he's at now, I feel vindicated. 100%. I feel like. I don't really like Bo Nickal as well. I feel like it's that kind of adds to it as well. Take the skill set out of it. I think the way he was talking he's been very arrogant throughout his entire run. And again, he's been talking down about the fans and talking down about the media, and they talk like they know, but they don't know. And he's been shitting on everyone along the way. So he put the pressure on himself. And this is where, you're reaping that now. And that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like you live by the sword, you die by it. Like, you bring all this attention to yourself. Yeah, you're gonna get more eyeballs. You're gonna be on the main card of cards before you're even ready. But if you fall, people are going to be waiting for it, and they are going to be all over you when you fall. And that's just the nature of the game. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what Ilya Topuria was doing before the fight with Alexander Volkanovski, saying he was already champion and all of this. And I mean, he was setting himself up, whether it was going to be a great him reaching the apex or him just looking really stupid and everybody's going to make fun of him for it.
Yeah. I enjoyed this part, as I was waiting on him to lose. I didn't think that he was that good. I didn't think he was that good. Like, I mean, if it's pure wrestling, then hey, you got it. But there's many Olympic wrestlers that have jumped into mixed martial arts and found out that this is not the same sport.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just pick up quickly on what DJ Serenity said there? Because he said that he went on Ariel's show today and that he's kind of had the right things to say.
Did you see what he said?
Did anyone happen to catch that? I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
I didn't see what he said, but I mean, I can imagine. I mean, he's probably decently media trained, since he, was part of the wrestling, that whole sport, and probably went to.
And he's obviously seen the backlash. If he comes out making excuses, I think the best thing he can do right now is admit that it was a wake-up call, and that he needs to reset. That would probably be the best thing for him. Yeah,
hopefully that's what he said.
Because anything else is gonna, like, he could. I was half expecting him to come out and double down. So the fact that DJ Serenity is saying that he was saying the right things has perhaps indicated that he's gone in a more humble direction with it, which I think is the way to go.
Yeah.
Or you double down and just, go wild with it and make people hate you even more so they tune in for the next battering you're going to get.
Yeah,
Depends
it doesn't
what he
really
wants out of his career.
It doesn't really surprise me he went that way, being on the Ariel Hawani show. I think that's kind of like the difference. I saw some people in on a live stream I was on talk about, you see the difference between an athlete and a fighter. And for me, Bo Nickal is an athlete that is fighting. And I think he looked himself in the mirror and was like, hey, like, I got to get better. It is what it is. And I think you get a little bit more of that when you're an athlete as opposed to when you're a fighter. Like, I feel like fighters, they get in there and it's like we're going after it, as opposed to like this is just a competition. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And you know what? With Bo Nickal losing, so now he's not undefeated. Like, we are only in May. There's been so many fighters that have lost their O. It is crazy. Like, I wonder if there's something to that. Like, should we now start betting against people who are undefeated now? Like, who else is undefeated? I believe Ilia Topuria is undefeated. Is he not?
Yep. Hamzat's undefeated.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, I don't know if that factors in, but I don't know. I don't know if Ilya is gonna retain that 0.
Depends who he fights next, I guess. A lot is hinging on this weekend in terms of how both those divisions shake out in the next the next 6 months. Who knew that Bilal was going to be at the center of essentially propping up what happens in 2 divisions at the same time? What a world we live in.
Another guy you hate, huh?
I've the thing is that if you get down to it, kind of, I realize speaking to you, it reminds me of how much I hate pretty much everyone. What am I doing here? I'm just, it's yeah, but it's, I don't know, it's I have softened towards Bilal a little bit. Like, I don't dislike him as much as I used to. I'm still not a major fan. I think what it is I'm a fan of his fighting style now in terms of how effective it is. Do I enjoy watching him? No. Can't stand listening to the guy talk. But it's like with Marab. I started out really disliking him. You remember that was one of the first things that brought people to my channel, like me raging about him and Aldo and Piotr Yan. But I've come to appreciate him a lot more for what he is. I'm, it's starting to change a little bit with me and Bilal, but this weekend's going to be massive in fixing or setting the paths of a lot of fighters in both divisions.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about it now, UFC 315. And it's funny that you bring up Bilal in that instance or in that context, because you said, Frankie, probably like, man, well, no, it was right when he won the belt. You said, oh no, I think he's gonna be champ for a while, because who's gonna beat him? Like,
that was the depressing reality of it.
Yeah. I mean, it is something to think about. Like, it won't be exciting. I'm not saying he's going to be dominant. And I think I saw a graphic where they predicted the future, and he had like 6 split decision wins, for his future fights or whatever. But like, but who can beat this dude at this point? At the way that he fights, like, who can Ian Gary beat him at this? Both of them fighting this.
I think it will be an age thing. I think it will be. I don't think he'll go on a ridiculous run, but I think I can see him beating JDM, which I've said from the beginning. But I think somebody like a Shavkat or even a Gary, who are younger and a bit more well-rounded, can hang around in both realms. They're going to be the ones that will win it on pure youth and being able to match up a little bit more skill-wise. I think that's what it would take. Those are the only 2 that I could see potentially doing it. But again, it depends on really what happens this weekend, because we're going to get a shuffle up, because, it really depends on this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can see him going on a bit of a. I can see him winning a few at least. But he's older in this. He's older in this weight class, and we know watching the sport for a while. Welterweight and down, it doesn't really favor, outside of the Volkanovski thing that we've just seen, it doesn't really favor the lower weight classes. The older guys tend to struggle a lot more. So time will tell, but I think we're gonna at least have to put up with him for a little while longer.
Yes.
I'm with you on the whole Shavkat. Like, I think Shavkat's like the guy. Once he gets healthy and gets back from the MCL injury, to me, he's the guy that's so well rounded and has skills everywhere that he's a tough fight for whoever you are. Like, it doesn't matter.
And he has the youth as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's got every advantage. I think in a Bilal fight, I think it favors him. I wouldn't go against Gary as well. Again, similar circumstances. He's somebody that can kind of manage the distance well. He's not a great wrestler, but he's competent enough to deal with that. So I'd pick those two at the moment. I'm a big fan of Joaquin Buckley as well, but he's got a massive test coming up with Usman.
That's my number 2 guy in the division for me, is Buckley.
Yeah, I've been a
Buckley just because he's so well rounded. Like, if you think about it, man, that's like that seems to be the new thing. Like, the more well rounded you are, you're a tough night out for anybody. And you have no holes. Like, nobody can really expose you anywhere.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I think, like I said, at least we've got some exciting potential matchups coming up, and you can see how the division is kind of shaken out. The worrying thing is as we always know, is what is the UFC going to do, because it seems like they're making all the wrong decisions at the moment, and that seems to be the more scary aspect of all this. You know, people are likely to step in, you know, or step through certain people or step over people where they shouldn't. You know, so that's more the worry for me if the right matchups get made. But there's definitely the potential there for some really good matchups moving forward.
Yeah, this is an interesting question that Juice Man asked. Shavkat versus Hamza Chimaev. Will it ever happen? If so, who wins? I have my thoughts, but Frankie, what do you think?
I don't feel like it will, because I'm going to maintain what I've said all along. I know this. Cross, don't get mad.
Whoa.
I don't think Chimaev's going to get the belt.
Over here.
I don't think Chimaev's going to get the belt. And the thing is, if Shavkat does eventually get the belt, he's got a lot to do in his division. So I think it will be more circumstantial. I think even the reason why I say that is because even if Chimaev gets the belt and Hamzat gets the belt, they've both got a lot to do in their divisions before that fight could happen. And they'd both have to go on runs. And they are two very well-stacked divisions at the moment. I'd say we potentially could see it down the line, but the way that I'm seeing it now, I still think that I'm still backing DDP to get past Chimaev. And I'm still, like I said, the Chimaev fight, the Shavkat fight for the belt, it still feels like a long way away just because of how the division is shaping up. And they're probably going to make Shavkat fight again, which is very unfair.
Yeah.
But I think just purely circumstantial, that's why we won't see it. But I don't know. It would be a good one to see. There's definitely tension there. I'll put it that way. Chimaev seems to have tension with everyone. He doesn't care where you're from, or he just wants it with everyone, which I kind of like about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get it either, just because, just like you said, man, in order for Shavkat to go up the middleweight, like he's got to do a lot of work at welterweight. And I feel like Chimaev at 185, if we look at him, he looks like a completely different guy. Just his body, you can tell he's so much denser at middleweight. And
he's definitely filled into the division. I think that the Usman performance absolutely doesn't. I thought it did. It was an indication, but seeing how he was against Whitaker and how explosive he looks there, I think he's finally filled into that division now. But again, I'm not convinced about his cardio, and I feel like DDP, he's a very difficult person to train for. And he's somebody who you don't want him hanging around 7 minutes and 30 in when you've blown your load trying to get him out of there. DDP will fight to the death for a full 25 minutes.
Mhm.
And I just think he has he's young enough to do it. He's awkward, and you can't look at textbook training stuff and know how to deal with DDP. You watch him and you can't really figure out what he's going to do, because he gives me the impression that he doesn't know what the hell he's doing in there either.
Mm-hmm.
Which works to every. So yeah, I just feel. I mean, again, I could be wrong. I think it's more. I'm clinging on to a little bit of hope here, because I've been a Chimaev deglazer for a very long time now. And I've got to admit, he's scaring me a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, I hear that, but I think DDP's like all that unorthodoxness and how different and funky his style is. I think that plays against strikers. When he goes in there with a grappler, and we know like how the Russians are, man. Well, I ain't gonna say the Russians, but just the Eastern European guys. Like when it comes to the grappling, everything is so technical. And if you get in there and think you're gonna like just get away with making mistakes, they're not gonna make any mistakes. They're gonna punish you for it.
Especially if they grab you and get you on the ground.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I mean, DDP's cardio just started looking good like a fight or two ago. And Hamzat didn't have that frantic, crazy pace in the Whittaker fight. Like I know he got him out of there, but he wasn't just like looking like just a rabid dog all over Whittaker. And I think going through the Gilbert Burns fight, the Usman fight, I think that's only made him tougher, man, dealing with so much adversity.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I think the Shavkat is going to make it tough on DDP, but for me, like
Hamzat.
Yeah, Hamzat. Yeah, Hamzat. Not Shavkat. But I think that he's going to make it tough on him, but DDP is like the definition of a dog, and he's going to get it any way that he can. And it doesn't have to look right, doesn't have to be textbook, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to get done.
It's a great fight. It's one of the ones that is right now is top 3 in terms of matchups we could see in MMA, because it's going to be very split.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you've got as many people on one side than the other.
I want Hamzat to win, but this is a really uphill challenge. And it's funny because like when I first started this channel, I was very vocal about the fact that I did not like the way the DDP fights. And I still don't, but I see the effectiveness. I see how it works. And so
I prefer DDP just because of it's the activity.
Yeah.
His shit talking ability is so underrated as well.
Elite.
Like he brings that extra level of, I don't know, vitriol. It's not even vitriol, it's sophisticated savagery is what I would describe it as.
Yeah.
He doesn't come out there saying F you this, he just prods and sits there smirking. And I still maintain that Hamzat hasn't got here in the right way. You know, missing so many fights and the inactivity that's gone on. I feel like he's had some savage performances that have been amazing, but it still feels like he hasn't earned it the right way, in my opinion. And I'm worried about him being a champion and then sitting on it, and we get inactivity again. With DDP, you're going to get a fight every 4 to 5 months, guaranteed.
That's true.
Whereas if Hamzat, I don't know if we can say the same thing.
No, not at all.
Shout out to Ricky LaFleur for that comment as well. He's absolutely right.
Yeah, he nailed that.
Making 2 of my favorite fighters cry as well, back to back, which is perfect. Nothing like watching a grown man break before the fight.
Grimy said, "You look like you're feeling an Oreo sandwich."
That's so wrong, Rick LaFleur. That's so wrong.
Oh man. I saw somebody put Frankie and the Brothers. It never failed.
Yeah, I get a lot of this in my streams as well, where people are like, when are you 3 gonna be doing this again? It's like, I don't know. It's not that we stopped, it's just it hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's just timing, is all. Y'all are tripping in the comments for real. But again, I'll put this out there. If y'all haven't subbed to all 3 channels, make sure y'all do that. Making the Wall, Fight Night Frankie, Crossover MMA. Make sure y'all subscribe to all of those. But on 315, are y'all excited for it at all? I saw somebody who put it, Chris Gray, put in the chat that he was at a 9 out of 10 as far as being excited for 315. Cross, how are you feeling going into 315?
I'm excited, but it's for a different reason. It's for something Frankie touched on earlier in the stream. So much hinges on the outcome of this card. If JDM wins, Islam's going up to welterweight. If Bilal wins, we're gonna get Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev International Fight Week. Like, I'm just curious to see how it unfolds from that sense. But I mean, as far as the fights, man, of course I'm looking forward to it. I would say probably the fight on the card I'm probably looking forward to the most. Is probably the main event, honestly.
See, this is the problem. This is the problem because the fight, I thought the people's main event was going to be Benoit Saint Denis and Joe
Yes,
Alvarez. And obviously
yes.
losing that is a big.
Yep.
It was kind of like we're going to get that exciting banger, and then we get the main event, which means so much to so many divisions. But now it's like, all right, we've got the stakes fight still, but then you look down the card and you're like, there's nothing too banger worthy. I mean, I think Mike Malott and Charles Radke will be
that's gonna be a good one
on the prelims. Modestas Bakauskas and Ion Cutelaba I quite like as well, because they're just gonna fucking swing. And there's a few fights that should be fun. You know, I think Power Bar's always a good. He's always a good scrap. And Bruno Silva will throw down as well. But it's like I said, it's not. You're not looking at across the card and going, "Ooh, like guaranteed banger here." I think there's going to be a lot of sleepy moments throughout this one. But what will pull us through, as I've said, is that main event. Whatever way it goes, you're going to see just storylines shooting from everywhere.
Yep.
And that's what we want, because we've needed that. We've needed things to be forced a little bit, and we feel like the result of this one, there's a lot hinging on it. So sometimes the stakes, it's what we said before, like sometimes the stakes are as important as the matchups themselves. Because it's like, where does this go? And you can almost see the lay of the land, you know, like kind of, I don't know, like laying itself out one way or the other. Like I said, two big divisions have huge implications here. So
yeah,
it's like what you said. It's like, oh, where's the banger? The guaranteed.
Yep. And another fight with a lot of stakes that can swing some things is the co-main event. Because if Valentina Shevchenko wins, we might get a super fight with her and Wei Li. We might,
yeah.
And I think for like just the legacy of women's MMA, that fight needs to happen.
It does, yeah. It does.
That would be good. Yeah, I agree. This is a good setup card. Like, it's setting up, like you said, all these storylines, all the things that will happen. Like, what I'm not excited about is I mean, and I won't pay for this, but if I were to be paying for this pay-per-view, I would not be happy about paying $80 to watch this pay-per-view. That's 100%. I would not.
There's been nothing $80 worthy this year.
No, not really.
Nothing.
I mean, not in name value.
We've had some good
314 in actual how good it was worth it though. 314 was really good.
Yeah,
it was solid.
We have had some good cards. It's not been a total shocker of a year, but it's, again, I feel like this goes down to a deeper thing, doesn't it? It's like, it feels like they're coasting at the moment.
Yeah,
and it's a concern.
Definitely feels that way. But also on the card, and who brought it up? Juice Man brought it up, but Alexa Grasso against Natalia Silva.
I didn't even realize that was on.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that because that's number one contender fight right there.
Yep.
Natalia Silva beats her. She's right there.
That's a great fight, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and Natalia Silva is favored, so
probably can see why. It's a tough, big step up for her, though. I know you're a big fan of hers as well, so you'll be hoping for. Yeah. There's definitely stuff to. There's, like I said, it's a storyline card. Whichever way you look at it, so I'm looking forward to it. Might even go live. We'll see.
I don't know if it's that good. I don't know if I'm gonna
Find a way to make it entertaining. We'll just do our usual Sunday thing where we get as many colorful characters on as possible, and just forget the cards playing and just,
Yeah, it's one of those cards.
off on a mad one.
I can't remember which one it was that me, you, JVD, who else was it? It was a crazy one. I mean, I literally forgot that we were watching the fights.
Yeah, it's good when that happens because it feels like less of a slog.
Yeah.
You just get involved in the banter and it kind of gets you through, because 7 hours is a long time. I'm a bit surprised that Manon Fiorot is the favorite against Valentina as well.
I'm only slightly surprised. Like
A bit surprised.
Just based on the way that Valentina has been fighting. And Cross, you brought this up in your the clips that you put up. She has, if you did a percentage, she's moved closer to being a wrestler than she is the champion striker that she's been previously. So, like, if she comes in there and she tries to wrestle Manon and doesn't really exercise her striking the way that she normally does or did before, it'll be a very interesting fight. Very interesting. And I don't know, with the kind of the lack of speed that she has now, if Valentina can strike with Manon. I don't know if she can.
I think her IQ though is what's going to her experience at the 5 rounders is what's tipping it for me.
It's gonna have to be.
I haven't seen I saw your breakdown of the Bilal and of your crossover, yours of the Bilal and JDM thing, and I haven't seen the Manon Fiorot and Valentina one yet.
Yeah, for me in that fight, man, like just like Jax was saying, man, Valentina in the last 5 years, it's been a lot of grappling. But Minot, I mean, in her Aaron Blanchfield fight, Aaron Blanchfield had no chance of getting her down to the ground. So I think her takedown defense is solid, but if the fight gets to the ground, Minot might have some issues down there.
Be in trouble,
exactly, because JDM, not JDM, but Valentina, man, she gets the ladies into that crucifix and just beats them up on the ground.
She's a grinder. She's got all the elements. She can strike. She's a very good but also she's a dog as well. And she doesn't care if the crowd are booing her to hell. She doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, she will just do what she needs to do.
And then something that surprised me is Valentina got a 2-inch reach advantage.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, which for women is significant, I suppose, especially. But I know Manon Fiorot's looked good. Who she beat, really? That's elite. I mean, she beat Aaron Blanchfield. Yeah. Blanchfield's the big win. Blanchfield's good, but who she really compared to Valentina's CV?
Rose, Jennifer Maya, Mayra Bueno Silva.
The Rose fight was pretty close. Mayra Bueno Silva is that hasn't aged as well as it could have done.
Caitlin Chukagian, they both beat Caitlin Chukagian though, so we never said division was very deep.
My balls aren't tingling.
Come on,
sorry. I think Valentina's a good pick here. I think if you get, I was expecting her to be a slight favorite, so taking that all day. But it's a good fight. It's good because, like I said, if Valentina loses, there's more fights we can do in that division, and if she wins, like I said, it lines up the Wei Li fight at some point. So I feel like we need. I'm with Jax. I feel like we need to see that sooner or later, because that will be I don't think it would ever elevate Valentina into GOAT status, because she's obviously lost to Nunes twice already. But it certainly solidifies Zhang Wei Li as a potential GOAT of the sport. I know she lost to Rose twice, but she probably won the second one. And then you can argue that, she can go up a weight class and get it done there. It's a very strong case for her, especially the way she does it. So, again, there's things to talk about for sure.
Oh, there's one other fight I was going to ask y'all about. Another women's fight, Frankie. I know you love it. Jessica Andrade against Jasmine Jasudavicius.
I like
Bro.
Jasmine Jazz the Vicious
Jazz
a
the
lot.
yes, Jasmine Jazz the Vicious is a dog, bro. Like she would get beat up and she would just keep marching forward, bro. Like how can you not enjoy watching her fight? For real.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trash on women's MMA just for the sake of it. It's just because it mostly is trash, isn't it? It's just horrible to watch. But this year, like I said, this is the state that we're in. The women have been stepping up lately,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm not just gonna troll just for the sake of it and be like, oh, they're shit. And if they bring it, they bring it. It's like I've said numerous times, like the Wei Li and Jen Jacek fight, the first one, is in my top 5 UFC fights of all time.
Yep. Same. I love
Like that
fight.
fight was sensational. You call it for what it is. Like it's not that I hate women. Well, we'll deal with that another time. It's that I just really, I just hate they're card destroyers most of the time, but it hasn't been the case. So fair play to them. You know, full credit where it goes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We got the first Snoop Dogg reference of the chat of the stream.
It took I'm upset that we've been here for 41 minutes and someone has taken this long to say it.
For real.
It normally doesn't take this long.
Chat is slipping.
Yeah. And no beast mode mentions is surprising as well.
Oh yeah. No, they don't know. Well, Chris knows. Like a good portion of them know. But dude, so I'm sitting at UFC Kansas City, right? And the way that my seat is, it's like we always get our seats on the edge of the aisle so that we don't have to like climb over people to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting in the last seat and it's right by the stairs. And there's this dude coming up the stairs and he was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" White dude. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man? Hey, man."
Sounded like a white guy the way you said that.
I'm telling you, this is exactly what it
I
sounded
got
like.
that.
And he put his hand out. He was, I was like, "Do I know you?" He was like, "Oh man, I thought you was beast mode."
You should have went with it.
I was like, man, I think he looks like the bad guy off of Predator 2. I don't remember the bad guy.
That was King. Was that King Willie? I think. I'm a big Predator guy, so I definitely know about all the Predators.
There's a new one coming out too.
The early ones, anyway. Yeah, that Predator's Badlands, right?
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
What are they doing with that?
I don't know, but I'm probably gonna watch it though.
I didn't know the Predators had hair. I think it's very confusing, the whole thing. I don't think it's weird. I know that's a weird thing to bring up, but correct me if I'm wrong, Cross. Yeah, they have basically tentacles on their head. Right?
Mm-hmm. It's like that helmet. That helmet is what has the tentacles. Like once they take that helmet off, then there's no more tentacles. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I'm totally talking shit. Then carry on.
But no, they have that's why, like, there was a dude that fought in I want to say he fought in Bellator. I want to say, and his nickname was the Predator. And of course, Francis Ngannou, his whole Predator thing that happened when he had braids. So it's all been tied to the hair.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but no,
hopefully it'll be good. Like I said, I never go into things wanting them to be shit, and I'm a big Predator fan as well. So certainly the earlier ones, like
1 and 2,
I maintain 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are amazing. Yeah, 2 gets a lot of shit, but it's a fun. The more I go back and see it, it's a fun movie, and I give it ratings for doing this.
Think of a Predator movie that I didn't like, honestly. Like, I'm not saying that they're like, oh, let's go get an Oscar.
All of the new ones. Alien versus Predator sucked.
Like it was entertaining. It was entertaining. Like it wasn't like life-changing.
Bro, I've sat through every single one of the Predators, dog. So anything Predator coming out, I'm watching it.
I didn't think Prey was that bad. It was all right.
Yeah, that was the newer one, right? Where it were like out in the Amazon somewhere. I thought that was kind of interesting to see how she could kill the Predator with like
they kind of went back to basics.
Yeah,
that's what it should be. The Predator movies have got to the point now where it's like, oh, sorry, I know we're going off on a total tangent here, but
that's what
it's turned into like this this monster that can't be destroyed. That was never the point of Predator. It was supposed to be about the stealth, about the skill, rather than just this monster who's lumbering forward and you fire everything at it, and it's just Predators are supposed to be vulnerable. But it seems they just turned it into this, like, I don't know, it's like a monster movie where you just can't destroy it, and then until it's convenient that you can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a bit bizarre. But the same guy who directed Prey, basically, the reason why I brought it up is he's directing Predator's Badlands. So hopefully,
I think
Okay.
and I like the fact that they're doing something different. At least they're trying to, they're trying something new. So if you're gonna go through the old tropes and go for, try to make money off IPs, at least do it in a way where you're putting a creative spin on it. So I at least appreciate it for trying that. So I'll hold out hope that it will be decent. Tangent over. Sorry about that.
No, I think it will be. But since we're talking about movies, I know you haven't seen this yet, but Sinners came out. I don't know if anybody in the chat has seen it, but
go see it. Go see it, guys.
It's required viewing. But I mean, I guess for me, well, before I even give my thoughts on it, I don't want to step on yours. So what did you think about the movie, Cross?
Man, so before I went to go see it, one of my buddies went to saw it and he hyped it up. He was like, bro, you got to go see it. If you can do IMAX, do IMAX, but the ticket's going to run you. So I ain't do IMAX. But I got in there, man. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, man. I thought it was really good. Like the whole, I know one thing I got out of that movie. If anybody's asking to come in your house, always say no, period. Period. I don't care who it
Anyone,
is, what it is.
Yeah, that mom's coming over. You're like, sorry, love.
No.
This relationship's over. Like, don't come in.
You cannot come in. Nope.
Yeah.
But yeah, great movie though. Great movie. I enjoyed it.
So I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it or whatever, but I mean, it's obvious from the previews that it's about vampires, but it's more so about like the Mississippi Delta and music and just the time period and race culture, not only between black and white people, but between Asian people and black people and white people. So it's an interesting dynamic that they spin there, but it just happens to be on the back of a vampire story. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now I will say that like everybody that I talked to, as far as my friends or whatever, they were like, that movie was a 10 out of 10. And I'm like, I don't know about all that. Now, I'll give it a 85 out of 100. But
I mean, that's pretty good these days.
It is
true. Very true.
Yeah, an 85 out of 100 these days is a million out of 10.
But I'm very harsh on movies, so. But I still, it's a movie that I would definitely see again.
Yeah,
100%.
And it makes me want to see The Accountant too. Bad too now.
Yeah, I do want to see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna run that as well. See, I watch a lot of kids movies these days because obviously when we do cinema runs, you got to bring the kids along, so it's a different thing.
Yeah, Chris Gray is over there talking about Minecraft, and I saw that like opening week.
Yeah,
with kids, not because I wanted to. And it lived up to all.
The troubling thing about the Minecraft movie is most people that I've spoken to have said that they really enjoyed it, and I'm like, how? I thought I was gonna die in there. It was awful, but I guess I just don't know anything anymore. I was alone on that island with the Minecraft movie thing. I found.
What the other people?
Everyone was saying it. Everyone I spoke to, I was looking forward to giving it a good spit roast, and just everyone was going, "What do you mean?" And it was a sad day for me.
I mean, I think it feels like it would be easy to make a movie out of something that doesn't really even have a plot in the first place. Like Minecraft.
But that's what it felt like. It just felt like people shouting, couple jokes thrown in, couple references, bing bang, get it out there. I don't think there was any substance to it. But I guess you don't need that these days. I'm with Grimy though. He's saying I've got to get drunk. That's the problem. It would have been an entirely different experience if I'd been fucked. Yeah, this is where I've gone off the road a bit. I've stopped drinking though, innit? So it's a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go back just for movie days. Just
I don't know, but I will say that like when whatever the last Star Wars came out, I prepared a movie experience for myself. Me and CJ or Lala, whatever y'all call her. And so I mean, I say I got high. I mean, I got like stupid, ridiculously, almost unable to function high. And I didn't know where the seats were, but the seats were at the top. And so we went all the way to the top. And then we were watching the movie, and she was like, "Hey, you want some of this brownie?" I was like, "Yeah, I want some brownie." And so I got some. And so I ate. And I was like, "Man, I don't even know what planet I'm on at this point." Right? So we're sitting up there, and I was like, "Okay, wait, movie's about to end, and I got to walk down all these stairs." I was like, "Nah, we just gonna have to wait this out." Movie ends, and I'm just still sitting there. I'm like, "No, I'm gonna need a guide or something. You got an escalator?" Because I can't make it down, man. But I didn't fall. But that's not the first time I almost felt like I was going to fall down some stairs because I was high. But that's generally how I like to go to see movies, though.
I need to
Especially
change
when
up my whole strategy, man. I've been
it
doing
makes it
this
more
all
interesting.
wrong. I've been torturing myself on the weekend, sitting through Dogman and yeah, Minecraft and I've been fucking. I'm gonna try it next weekend. We'll see how it goes. So report back next week, and we'll see how it goes.
Definitely.
Yeah, it makes it more interesting for sure. All right, so last thing we'll chop it up about the playoffs. We kind of talk about it every week now. So who's left? You know what? Let me just.
I got you. We got OKC, Denver, Minnesota, Golden State, the Cavaliers, the Pacers, and the Knicks, Celtics.
Yeah.
So and the Knicks beat the Celtics in game 1.
Yep.
Pacers beat Cleveland in game 1. Denver beat
OKC.
And
the Warriors are playing tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
The Warriors is your team, right, Frankie?
They are. After they lost game 6, I was like, yeah, this is done. I didn't even watch game 7 because I was thinking they're just going to get piped.
Frankie, you got to know, man, Steph Curry is amazing at game 7 against Houston.
Oh, no, nobody's more. I've seen us trample on Houston's poor souls multiple times and enjoyed every second of it. But I just felt like, because I'd heard that Butler was injured and that there was going to be a whole thing with that. So I thought if he was out, it was done. And they've blown 3-1 leads before, as you know.
One time.
So I was happy birthday, hustle. Sorry, man. But yeah, it was a good it's a good win for them, but they're going to be up against it now. That's a tough matchup. Ant-Man looks incredible at the moment, so
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. But tonight's a game they really have to show out in and lay a marker down if they're going to do anything in this series, in my opinion, because they're going to have to take one of these first two, in my opinion, or they're going to struggle.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they'll win one of them, but
yeah, I think that they'll get one. It may not be the first one, but I think they'll get one. I think they're a better team cohesively, but if you look at
size,
if you look at the Timberwolves from a size standpoint, that's a problem. That's a big problem for Golden State. Because Rudy Gobert, as soft as he is, that man is still 7'4".
The thing is, I think he's terrible against us though. I think when you run a pick and roll on this guy, he's a bit too. I find that we've matched up well with Rudy Gobert over the years, especially with the way Steph Curry plays. I think Golden State did get the best possible matchup they could have got in the second round because of the route that they've got. I wouldn't have liked them against OKC or Denver. I think this is the better matchup for them.
They do have a winning record against OKC this year.
They do, and they've also got a winning record against Minnesota as well. I think they were 3-1 up in the regular season as well.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful that they can do something, but it's basically, it feels like this is going to be the defining moment of Steph Curry's legacy one way or another. Because I think it's going to be now or never in terms of a rebuild is coming.
If he gets another championship and another Finals MVP, he's in the top 10 all time.
I think he's in the top 10 already, to be
I'm about to
honest.
say he might be in there already.
Bro, the top 10 is
I think if he gets
tough.
fifth, I think if you're talking in
The top
terms of
20
like
is tough.
top 20 is tough,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
But
agree.
again, it comes down to opinion, though. I guess it's like I
It
didn't watch
does.
a lot of, but I was kind of in and out of basketball in the 80s and 90s. Like I wasn't an avid watcher as I became like in the early 2020, the early 2000s and to now. So I don't really deserve to have an opinion, really. But um, I think in terms of, again, I more look at basketball greats and the impact that they've had on the game, not just what they've done. And for
Mhm.
better or worse, basketball was changed because of that guy.
True. Very, very true.
I think that's undeniable. Yeah.
Lane said Curry's been phoning it in the last 4. How about the last 4 games?
I think he had one or two. I think he had one or two good ones in there, but it's more the gravity that he creates. That even if
Yeah.
he's having a bad game, I think what he does in terms of getting others involved, just
I
as a
don't think
mere
he's been
presence on
phoning
the
it
court.
in. I think he's had Amen Thompson on him. Like if you're not
Yeah,
aware
you
of
did.
Amen Thompson is an animal. Like that dude is unbelievably athletic, very persistent, in
Yep.
an amazing shape, and he don't care about nothing else but keeping Curry from doing what he want to do. And like that's the reason. But
Yeah, and I still think Curry's had some really good games, and he had some really good games in that series.
yeah, and he showed up when
It's
he
an
was supposed
interesting. It's a 50-50 series in my opinion. This one,
to. It is. I
I
think
think it's the one where it feels more. I don't know. Pacers for me are the ones to watch.
Really, the Pacers.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think they're going to surprise
it's
some
the
people.
matchup to me. It's the matchup. It's because the Pacers last year people discounted or forget about it, but they were just in the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
People forget that, and they stop. I think it's because they started so poorly this year. I think people writ them
Yeah.
off immediately.
But
But they look great, and the Cavs have some injuries.
Yep. Darius
They've obviously
Garland
lost
didn't
the
play.
first game.
I think the winner
this game too. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the winner of the Knicks Celtics is who comes out of the East.
I think the Celtics will get through that kind of comfortably. I do. I like obviously the New York needed to win that first game, or else it would have been a wash, in my opinion. And I think New York are good. I think Boston shot themselves in the foot more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pitching up as many threes as they did and just not sticking to.
Oh,
And I know they live and die by it quite often, but they're not going to
it
have
was
nights where they
settling.
go.
They
Wasn't there
settled.
a stat in the where they had 19 out of 20 shots or something were 3-pointers? I think it was in one of the quarters.
Yeah, I think it was
And they
either
missed
third or
something
the fourth.
outrageous like 43s or something throughout the course of the game, which is a playoff record. That's not going to happen too often or again, really.
No, it's not.
Mm-mm.
But I feel like the Cavs, I don't know what their issue is. Like from just looking at them and the way that their team is put together, you would think that they would thrive in these situations. But I don't know what it is about Donovan Mitchell teams. Once they get to the second round, they don't play
Playoff
like they did
basketball is just
before.
different. It's just different.
Mm.
Things
It's
slow
a completely
down.
different
It gets a
game.
bit
Yep.
more physical. There's more like it's just it does. It feels like a completely different game going from regular season to and that's where a lot of teams get found out because it's
The refs don't
and
make
again
all the ticky-tack foul calls anymore.
100%, yeah. And also there's a different, it's where IQ and experience comes into it because when you're playing the same team back to back to back to back to back, it's where coaching and where experience and where, all of that comes into it. And that's why you've got to sort of favor the guys who have been there in situations like this.
That's true. And I think the Pacers might do it, man. I definitely think the Pacers might do it.
I can see the Pacers getting to the finals and surprising a lot of people. I can see it being very similar to, the year where the Celtics beat the Celtics lost to the Warriors in the final and they blitzed their way through that side and were a bit surprising. And then they came up against that. I can see the Pacers doing a very similar thing, going one further this year. And then maybe not having enough in the finals, but be a nice story to see them get a championship.
That would be very interesting. I would be unbelievably surprised. Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
But But Halliburton's doing this thing. I mean, I still think that the OKC versus Boston matchup is what's likely in the finals. But I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen between now and then if they continue to, if Boston keeps doing what they're doing, and if OKC can get past Denver, like,
and who stays healthy, that's going to be key.
Yeah, that comes down to it majorly as well. Because we've seen playoff games shift immeasurably just from one serious injury that disrupts the whole flow. So that's going to really be telling. It's a very high pressured situation. It's like you said, no ticky tack fouls. It's like it's a lot more physical. It's a lot more slowed down. Yeah,
that's how the Raptors got their championship. When KD got hurt, Clay was hurt. You know,
I don't even want to think about that. That was a horrible series to watch.
The Warriors were going to win that series too.
Oh, easy. Big time,
easy. That one
hurt. The whole franchise fell apart. I mean, obviously, winning the fourth one after that was huge because I felt like it was over after that. Watching Clay go down and then KD leave, and then Clay gets injured again the following season, and it's like, oh man, like this is basically it. But so to win another one, I felt like I was happy at that point. I'm not expecting anything else. So I would like to see Butler do something though.
Bro, I think that pairing of those two is gonna mesh up very well because just like you said, the gravity that Steph Curry is, and we know playoff Jimmy's a very real thing. Like you can just toss him the ball, be like, "Hey, get us a bucket," and we
if you need a bucket, exactly. And again, he brings that defensive intensity as well. It's like my worry as always is like with Draymond Green because he's one of those guys who like I love the guy. Don't get me wrong, but there's so many times where it's like he can be as much of a detriment as he is a savior for us. It can really depend on the fact that he's still the age that he is and still doing extremely stupid shit out there.
Yeah,
it's frustrating because he can cost you as well as it depends on the mood that he's in, you know. So he's a frustrating one to be a fan of, but there's definitely a lot of interesting permutations in this playoff picture that I like. There's a lot of teams that could look at the 8 teams that are left. There's a lot of potential for you could see any of them winning it, really. I'd say the Knicks are probably the biggest outsiders, in my opinion, of who's left. But they'd shock me the most just because they're bottle jobs.
It's so funny because, like, 2 weeks ago, I would have said that the Pacers are by far outside the least of these 8, you know, but it's just what they've shown recently. It's changed.
If you look at the form since January, they've been as good as the Cavaliers and Boston since January. They've really and that's what you've got to do. You've got to look at the current form in basketball as opposed to looking over the whole season and where they were, because they were shocking at the beginning. But
yeah,
I'm just not going to buy the Pacers until I see it. Like the franchise, if you go back even when the Jordan years, like the Pacers were really good, and some years even had like teams that definitely could beat the Bulls. But I got to see them do it before I'm like, okay, they can get over the hump.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had some really solid teams over the years. You know, the Reggie Miller years, Paul George years.
Paul George, yep.
You know,
they had the big guy that came from Georgetown, the 7-footer Hibbert. Even when they had Hibbert, they were
Hibbert,
good. Yeah. When they had David West, they were good.
Yeah,
they just seem like those nearly man. I think the fact that they're such a small market is why I want to see them do well as well.
Yeah.
You know, I like teams to occasionally come in and shake things up. So they'd be a great story. It's always nice to see somebody buck the trend a little bit and say, you know, like, we're going to upset the apple cart a little bit. You don't get the same dynasties winning over, or not the same dynasties, but the same organizations that have that big pool winning year after year. It's nice to see in any sport.
Those surprise championships are always interesting. And it would definitely be.
And the Malice at the Palace was goated. What are you talking about, Gray?
Why is he so
one of the greatest
at the Palace?
That was one of the greatest sporting moments of all time.
That was necessary.
100%
necessary. Bro, I watched that live and was like, what is going on?
Yeah, that was I didn't even think that was real. You know what, like when Habib jumped out the cage,
Yeah, it was
It's those
literally
moments.
that for the
Exact same.
NBA.
It felt the exact same.
Yep.
And
Like
it led
just
to one of the
disbelief.
greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it led to one of the greatest stand-up routines. That Bill Burr stand-up routine about it is
Yes.
just incredible.
hmm
Summed it up so beautifully.
Just like Lazy said in the chat, man, they had Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, Rick Smiths, both the Davises, and they couldn't get it done. Like, that's tough.
Playing against Black Jesus, man. You can't
True.
beat him.
True.
Can't beat him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see. I feel like I've got like a more of a vested interest now. It's you know, I didn't watch a lot during the regular season because like I just don't have the time. You know, basketball's on a wacky time for me, and there's so much going on. But
Yeah.
I've kept up with it enough, and it's definitely heating up now. And there's some interesting things to keep your eye on, for sure.
Yeah. So I got one more question for you, Frankie, specifically, because me and Cross have kind of talked about it before, but we talked about last week. We talked about the UFC rights deal and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So from your perspective, you know, you being where you are, what in your mind would be the best way for things to go? Should they stay with ESPN? Should they split it up amongst a bunch of different places? Should they go to Netflix? Like, what do you think is the best way for this whole thing to shake out?
Well, them being on ESPN doesn't really. Thank you. Yeah, them being on ESPN doesn't really. It doesn't benefit us UK fans in any way, shape, or form. I think it kind of depends on how you see how a lot of people saw the WWE thing as like the experiment. I know it's a completely different situation, but how that's gone down on streaming, I'm not sure how people feel about that over there. As a UK fan, again, them being on ESPN doesn't do anything for me. I think I don't really care who they end up broadcasting with. The main issue that I have with the UFC is just where they're putting on their cards.
Mhm.
I feel like we need to see more of I think everything is too American centric. There's too many cards in America that, no offense to Iowa, great that they went there. It's like we haven't seen a European card, like outside of England and France in a long time, if ever. It's like we haven't seen an Africa card yet. We're not getting enough Asian cards. Like
They're going
that's where the
to
fundamental
is it
issue.
Baku? Is it Baku later?
Yeah.
Finally,
Azerbaijan.
and
Yeah.
that was the strangest thing to me. It's like you're finally going to Europe and you're going to
I don't
Azerbaijan.
know.
Like, what the fuck is that?
I don't know why they picked that one, but I'm sure it'll be great. I don't know, but
You could have gone to Poland. You could have gone to. There's so many, like Azerbaijan being the first one where you've got one fighter in the UFC who's from Azerbaijan was a strange one to me. I don't really understand that.
I'm surprised Japan hasn't happened yet, seeing as though we got a few Japanese guys now.
I think that must be a political thing. There must be something there.
I can see that.
But like I don't know. It's strange to me. I think the broadcasting thing. I think a lot of people are putting too much into this because they're gonna follow the same model whatever they do. I mean, with the streaming, financially from you guys, I'd assume that's what you're going to be going for because obviously you don't want to be paying. You want anything that gets you away from that rigid pay-per-view model because you guys are getting fucked in the ass every fucking month.
Yep.
I mean, you're not because you're not paying for it, but you know what I'm saying. It's like if you were paying for it, what we want is to be able to pay for it and for it to not like feel like we're remortgaging every 6 months to pay for this shit.
I also like it.
Really
I like the streaming model just because it makes it easier to get it in front of casual fans or people that maybe would be interested, but they just don't know where to go to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's what I think just making it like affordable and accessible is, and ESPN, like I said, there's been I don't know the full extent of it because I don't use ESPN, but I've heard there's issues with the streaming. There's issues with
there's always issues with ESPN.
Where's the benefit outside of it being obviously ESPN's obviously a massive media arm, and you get that benefit where the news is more central. But the way that they are directing the news at the moment, maybe that deal has a lot to do with why, you know, that the press conferences and everything are going in the direction that there is, because it seems like a more sort of watered down product from that perspective, in that they're no longer allowing the chaos where it's like we can let people get out of pocket and do, because it's become a very sort of, we want to be a family, not a family orientated brand, but you know what I mean? We want to be certainly on the surface, a reputable mainstream brand, and being ESPN, part of ESPN might have a big part of that. There's a lot of permutations to go into it, but I feel like ultimately, every fans from all over the world want to see it firstly affordable, and then see it, you know, like, I don't know, going around the world as a global organization like they should be. And that's more what I think will lead to the changes that we're looking for, or what that we want, because obviously as fans, that should be the most important thing, being able to access live events in different places and also not paying out of the arse for it. And I feel like if they stick with ESPN, we're just going to get another 5-10 years of the same played out bullshit that we've had. So that's my take on it.
No, that totally makes sense. It's kind of in line with what we're thinking too. I have a hard time thinking that they're going to go away from the pay-per-view model. And if they go to Netflix, like, how would they manage that? Or would they go?
This is what I'm saying. I don't think they realize I don't think they realize how many people are illegally streaming this shit. Like, I think far more people watch UFC than they even understand.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
Like, it's if they made it affordable and they weren't so fucking stubborn about it, they would make a shitload more money and have a shitload more exposure. If they just, there's too many dinosaurs involved in that side of it now.
And I think if they something else they should do as well is like make it to where when you watch on their broadcast, wherever it is, you get extra features. So like you're incentivized to watch it there as opposed to you just stream it and you miss out on a few things. Like, I don't know what that could be, but I think that should be something that they think about as well.
It feels like they're at a crossroads right now where this decision is really going to affect where the business moves moving forward. And it's very clear that the pay-per-view model is not working long term, and it's upsetting a lot of, because the thing is with the hardcores, we're getting angry because we're going to stick by no matter what, but we're actually, a lot of the hardcore core fan base is getting jaded at this point. And with things emerging like I said, BKFC starting to become prominent, boxing's making a comeback, you've got organizations across the globe that are starting to make a name for themselves. The UFC's position at the top is not guaranteed to remain if they keep, and I'm not talking about for now, but you're talking 10 years down from the line, 15 years down from the line, they could be damaging their long-term survival by not adjusting. And I think this is where the crossroads moment is. So I hope they make the right decision, and they won't. I don't even know why I'm bringing this up.
No faith at all.
Nah. But again, I feel like with Dana, people are acting like Dana, for example, is the sole problem of what's going on in the UFC. I don't even think he's a major part of what's going on anymore. I think there's a lot. I think the owners of the UFC, or the people who are making these decisions, are people that we don't even see that are having a major impact on what's going on. And it's worrying because I don't feel excited anymore I don't have this. I feel like it's really dropped off this year. And again, people are bringing this up in the chat. I mean, it's first of all, none of us are paying. I don't know anyone who pays legitimately for this shit. I don't know anyone who says I'm paying that. So it's like we're complaining about that $80, but we're not paying it. Which is quite interesting to me. But what we want is to pay a reasonable fee where we can stream it legally and it works, rather than bugging out every time our perfectly legal streams crash in the middle of a fight that we're watching or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I have bought cards this year, only because I just didn't want an unreliable stream. And what did I get? An unreliable stream.
Unreliable stream.
Yeah, that's what I get for paying for it. So
I think it was $313. I think it just completely went out, right?
Yeah.
That can't happen when you're paying $80 man. That's when you're like, that's the next level of rage you go through.
Yeah, man, I can't be throwing away $80. How am I going to get my McLaren? But,
Apparently, it's very easy if you've been following the law. It's not that hard. No, don't worry, bro. It's coming. You're gonna
hey,
get there.
who asked the question? Somebody asked about the Peter. Oh, no chill. No chill said something about the
Shout
Peter
out to him.
Yan versus Marcus McGee fight has been confirmed. What do
So
y'all think?
my take on why that fight got made is two reasons for me. So one, I think the fight that should have happened was Peter Yan, Umar Nurmagomedov. Like, to me, that makes the most sense. Like, the winner of that fights the winner of O'Malley, Merab. But I mean, there may be something where Yan and Umar don't want to fight each other. And then on top of it, Marcus McGee, like, the guy's older, like, that hadn't been in the UFC very long, but I think he's already like up there in his mid-30s. So they kind of like got to throw him in the deep end to see if he can sink or swim like right away. And for the fans, I think we're gonna get a great fight with that. Personally,
I think it's gonna be a great one. Yeah,
fight for real.
it's a bit rough on Piotr Yan fighting that far down because McGee is
True.
dangerous.
Crazy.
He probably should be further along than he is. He's been held back for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably skill wise, and again, he goes in there and fights. That'd be a great fight.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the worst that can happen? I mean, if Piotr Yan wins, he's one step closer to a title shot anyway. If McGee wins, we've got another guy who's in the mix, who's exciting and can bring it. So, and it's going to be, like you said, we need to just step away from the bureaucracy and all that stuff. Just make fights that are more than likely going to be great if you put them together. And you put those two together, you're more than likely going to get a banger. So I'm personally fine with it.
Yeah.
Especially with the awkward position that Piotr's in as well, having lost to both the champion and the contender. It's a weird. They should have just done him and Sean O'Malley. This is all, again, this is just leading down to bad matchmaking. It's all filtering down all the way down these divisions and cards. Now you make one bad matchup at the top and it filters down and fucks up everything else underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Got to switch things around. So yeah.
It's messed up. It's messed up that he has to fight so far down. That's the part that really bothers me.
But there must be some guarantees on the back end.
I was just about
there
to
must
say
be some guarantees. It's either financially or they're like, look, man, you do this for us, you get through this guy, we guarantee you get the winner.
Yep.
There must be something, and you don't say that to somebody like Piotr who looks like he will pull up at your house if you don't deliver on what you're,
And he will.
And he will. Yeah, like that dude looks scary. There's something cold about that guy.
But he's still like 5'4" though.
But he's a very scary...
I don't know. I'd rather deal with a 6'10" rational human being than a 5'4" psychopath who I don't know. So the intent is everything, isn't it? But no, I don't hate the fight. I don't hate the fight at all. I think it's gonna be, at the very least, it's like I said, it's gonna be on paper. You put those two together, you're gonna get fireworks.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't feel like we're getting enough of that these days. So say roll with it. Go with it.
All right. So last question before we jump off. And before we even do that, like I said before earlier, if y'all haven't subscribed to all three of the channels, make sure y'all do that. Making the Walk, Crossover MMA, Fight Night Frankie. But my question is, does Corey Sandhagen deserve a title shot after that fight?
Oh, I like this. I like this. Deserves it more than Sean O'Malley.
It's tough just because he's only won one fight. Like, he just lost to Umar not too long ago. The division's just in a tough spot. Like, there's not really just that clear guy. In my opinion, it is Yan. Like, I think Yan should be the guy with what he's done here lately. But it's just a tough spot to be in, honestly.
Again, I think it kind of depends on who wins the fight, because if Sean O'Malley wins it, we all gotta we'd love to see him and Yan throw down again. That works. Him fighting Corey would be a great matchup as well, stylistically. That's something we've all had in our top 5 fights we want to see probably for the last couple of years. So that opens things up. I just feel like if Merab wins it, again, we're back to he dominated Piotr Yan. Dominated him. He relatively dominated Sean O'Malley, but we're going to get to see that again anyway. We haven't seen him and Corey. It's a fresh matchup, and Corey's kind of been the guy who has shown to me, I don't know, as a hardcore fan of this, or a semi-hardcore fan of the sport, I feel like Corey's got one of the most advanced skill sets generally across the entire organization. And he's somebody that I feel, it's the old cliche of styles make fights and all that stuff. I feel like he's somebody who could certainly give Marab some serious trouble. So again, I think with bantamweight, it's just a shame that we're seeing this again. We have to deal with it. It's going to happen again. But there's certainly things to look for coming up behind. So do I think he outright is undeniable for a title shot? Definitely not. But the division's in a weird place because Marab's run through all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he kind of deserves a shot by default in that he's fought guys when he's been told to.
Mhm.
Didn't have to fight Umar when essentially fighting down when he probably deserved a title shot at that point. So I think just purely by process of elimination and it being a fresh matchup, I think you can definitely make a strong case for him getting it. Again, there are more deserving contenders. Piotr does probably deserve it more on the win streak that he's gone on. But again, Piotr had a tough fight with Figgy, 5 rounds. Corey's gone in there and just absolutely dismantled him. So you can make that argument as well. They both fought the same guy recently, and one was far more decisive than the other. He's in the conversation, and I think he deserves to be. And again, he's a very well-rounded and can be potentially exciting when he wants to be. He's certainly more exciting from the hardcore perspective because his IQ in there is sensational, and he can do everything. Shitty personality, not the most exciting to listen to, but
Have you seen the recent thing that he put
I don't
out?
hate it.
That one was funny.
What did
He's
he
like
say?
trolling all the people saying that he doesn't deserve a title shot. It was kind of funny. It was.
Yeah, he's Chris Gray couldn't really help it, could he? He would
It was
never
a
let
matter
it
of
go.
time. It was a matter of time.
He hasn't said
Snoop Dogg always
fair
talk
play to
about
Chris Gray. He hasn't brought this up in a while, and it must be hurting him.
True.
Because he used to bring it up in every stream. He'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
Nate Dogg's better than Snoop Dogg, bro. And it would dominate the chat for about 45 minutes. So fair play to you for your restraint, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know Nate Dogg's full discography.
Discography, yeah. I mean, he's not a standalone artist, Chris Gray. Why are you doing this to yourself?
For real.
Yeah,
He makes songs better. He's not really you don't go Nate Dogg song, you think, all right, what was the best song that he was in? Or who did he collab
Regulate.
with?
I mean,
All that.
Regulate is like the classic, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there's a song called The Dove Shack that I really like that he was on. But I mean that was so long ago. But yeah, he's not a standalone artist, really. So it's kind of tough.
And the thing of him versus Snoop Dogg is just a strange one to go for, Chris Gray. I don't understand why you're
There's no
pitching that.
comparison, man. So.
It's a weird one, bro. But keep doing it because it's it's funny. Oh, Ain't No Fun is one I like Ain't No Fun.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That was good for our gender.
Yeah.
I feel we needed that. It was needed at the time.
But one last thing on Sandhagen and O'Malley. If O'Malley wins 48-47, split decision, are they going to have to do that damn fight again?
Yep.
No, I don't think they will.
They're gonna
I don't
have
think
to.
they will. They should, but they won't.
Well, yeah, because they don't want Marab to get the belt back. So you probably got some to that.
I think it will be more of he deserves it, but then he won't. Yeah, it's a weird one. They don't. Marab is great for the sport, I think, but again, the UFC don't really understand the very fact that the first thing Dana said was, "This is the fight everyone wants to see," and just crickets. It's like it shows how out of touch they all are with what's going on amongst the fan base right now. and they claim to be very social media centric, and that seems to be their main focus. They don't understand how the people feel at all. It is what it is.
That is very true.
Interesting, but
That is very
it's
true.
the state, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, we have a good amount of people in here. I appreciate y'all jumping on with us, man. But before we jump off, Frankie, like, do you got anything coming up?
I just want to give my usual shout outs to. I want to give my shout out to Bodak, who is doing regular like quizzes on a Thursday. He's actually gotten, this ties into you as well. I haven't spoken to you about this crossover as well. He's got his so he does an MMA. He does a quiz every week, but he's got an MMA quiz in. So he does an MMA quiz before every major card. And they're really popping off lately. You know, the production value on them is amazing. He's a great character as well, and it's just something different. You know, it's something that you can interact with a bit more, because obviously you guys like interacting in the chat, but this is something where you can actively participate in a quiz, and there's that aspect to it as well. So I'd strongly recommend him. It's the Bodak Show. I'll try and, if I don't know if you've got a link there handy, I'll try and pull it up.
Yeah, should be.
Because I can't access the chat at the moment. But yeah, the Bodak Show. I want to give a shout out to him because you're going to be featuring on it as well. So I feel like it's a fair plug to make on your.
Really?
That's a good plug. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Bodak. Let's come
is
check
gonna
you out.
Yeah, Jax is going to be popping on, and he's actually asked me about you as well, Crossover. I'm very sorry to be doing this to you live. But yeah,
Live.
it was something I should have messaged you about. Yeah.
Let's see.
So the Bodak Show, it's BODACH, and then
All right,
show.
I just subbed up.
Yeah, so that's the guy. Check him out. He's funny as fuck as well, and he's British, so there's a bit of bias on my side for that as well.
I see the bias.
But yeah, he features on a lot of my panels on Sunday, and it's, without him it would just be a complete collapse of just, it's insane enough on a weekend, but having somebody who's actually sane on my panels is helpful. So shout out to Bodak for being sane.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's
look out for that guy.
those Sunday ones are an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Watching me just hoping the earth just swallows me whole on my own channel on a Sunday is a glorious sight to behold. Yeah, they definitely are fun. But yeah, shout out to everyone in the chat who came in, and obviously if you're not subscribed to Crossover and you're in my channel, I don't know why you wouldn't be if you're not subscribed to Making the Walk. We've been doing our thing together for a long time now. It feels like it's a year for you, Cross. You went over the year mark quite recently.
No, I haven't hit a year yet. I still got a few. I got a few more months.
Son of a bitch. I mean, congratulations.
Those are both the same thing.
I hit a year, I want to say in August, so it's coming up.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
Congratulations, that's a big one. And then obviously your channel's doing amazing. Shout out to you. It's good to see you back in the swing of things as well, Jax, because I was worried there that you
Oh yeah. Yeah, you were worried for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bro, it's easy to have. It's easy to get like kind of like comfortable, like I'll get to a video. You gotta stay on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does take a lot. I think people who don't do this alongside, because I was doing it outside of doing a job, and it was rough then, just having a family. Doing it alongside a job and doing it alongside having a family, and this is what it takes a lot. So shout out to anyone who stays consistent and just keeps doing it, because it's tough.
Yeah. And then like
people calling you Nate Dogg every minute as well. It's just a rough.
For me, like, just doing the editing and all that stuff, it takes, because it's not just recording whatever the project is.
It's not just thinking of topics and thinking of, you've got to try and present it in a way you'll forget and again, I don't want to shit on the audience members here, because it's not, of course I wouldn't do that, but you want to put stuff out there that you feel proud of as well, that you look back on and say, I put my utmost into this. It's a lot. So shout out to anyone who does it.
Yeah, but when you're first
Shout out
starting,
to you guys for being part of it.
oh yeah, definitely. I appreciate it, brother. And man, both of y'all are definitely inspirations to me, man. And I'm incredibly thankful that I, found you two guys and got the nerve to jump on YouTube, man.
Yeah, you're
shout
doing it.
We appreciate it. So yeah, just like I said, Bodak's actually turned up in the chat now, so I was just mentioning him. So check him out. Really amazing. And like I said, we've got such a wacky. There's a huge range of us just under the same umbrella now. It's crazy. There's how many of us have spawned from. Because Jax, you were the first person I met on here, and it was just you and I to begin with.
Yeah.
Now I think people that are under the same thing now. It's crazy how much the community's grown and spanned out.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
insane, but it's cool. It's a bunch of good people. There's some weird people. There's some weird people too, but there's some good people.
Yeah. Got to take the rough with the smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Cross, you got your stuff that you put out right recently.
Yeah. I got my preview video out. I'll be on the show with the Fight Week show on Thursday, and actually jumping on another stream Thursday night, and then we do the prediction show on Friday, and they'll probably be doing the watch along as well on Saturday. So just trying to stay as consistent as possible.
You've been doing really well with the picks as well. So one thing that's a nice side of your channel is, for those of you who don't have the time to watch long form videos, you get those shorts coming through that are very concise, and you've got the the picks will pop up, and it's just a nice, streamlined way of, like an informed MMA fan who knows what he's talking about, who doesn't waffle on like I do, as I'm doing right now for 20, 30 minutes. Cut straight to the fucking mustard,
Yeah, now you've been on point, and you got your merch out too.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Chris Gray. I saw you in the chat, man. Going over there, get you a shirt. You know what? Don't get a shirt, man. Get like 30. Get like 30 shirts. Mandatory. It's a 30 shirt minimum.
I haven't got the shirt yet. I need to get
I didn't even. It's the first I've heard of the merch. I'll be heading over there. Right? You ship abroad, right?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I would assume.
Fuck you, bro. Going on about the UFC doing their thing. This is what you scummy Americans. Fuck it. I'm raging now. You better find a way to hook me up, bro. God damn.
The hug will give me motivation.
Take back everything I said. Fuck crossover.
Hey, but I will tell you this though. I ordered this shirt and it literally took a month to get here. So be patient when you do order. It does take a while. Yeah. I'm just letting you guys know.
The design is iconic at this point. It's synonymous with your channel now. So
yeah,
shout out for getting that done.
100%. All right, y'all. So next Tuesday we'll be in the same place. We'll catch y'all then.
Sounds good. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
big
thanks
time.
to all of you. We love every single one of you. Thank you for making this what it is.